All right, welcome everybody. Crypto market update. Let's get straight into it. I'll adjust the camera. Perfect. All right, so there is a sentiment shift in Bitcoin. We are now officially bullish on the 4 hour. Bum bum. And then we are also bullish on the hourly, of course. All right. We had like a semi two-type model here, which are confirmed. Now we are going to have a look and see if there's any sort of demand in here. Okay, we have 2 hour demand. Nice. And then we're obviously going to double check this on the lower time frame. Yeah, so it's a really, really beautiful structure demand. So keep an eye out on this structure demand. All right, I'm just going to quickly reset this because it's going pretty slow. All right. Yeah, so we're obviously bullish on the hourly and 4 hour. So expect a pullback into that demand to form a higher low for a higher high. That's our expectational order flow. So I'm not really interested in longing anything from what was the current price action there. I'm also looking for price to pull back into that demand below, which we recently talked about, which is, yeah, this demand here. And then, yeah, obviously just note that there is quite a bit of supply above. So at the moment, yeah, we're in kind of like a semi-neutral context in crypto. We're bullish lower timeframes, then the higher timeframes remain bearish. Looking at USDT dominance, we might have the same thing. So yeah, we're bearish on the hourly. That's easy to see. And then we're probably going to be bearish on the 4 hour. Okay, so on USDT, we're actually still bullish on the 4 hour because there's no market, there's no valid 6 candle rule here. We've got 2 consecutive bullish and we've only got 1 bearish, then 1 bullish, then 1 bearish. So we are still, our 4 hour low is like here, essentially. So yeah, we're still very much so bullish on the 4 hour for USDT dominance. So also take that into context and expect, yeah, I kind of expect a bounce here on this demand. So we'll see what happens if we get that. So at the moment, just trade crypto from a neutral sort of bias and just understand that there is demand in USDT dominance and you can expect price should we get a confirmation to do this. So this will mean that obviously once we reject here and break structure back up, then obviously alts are going to also follow and start dumping more. So yeah, expect like a low time frame pump in alts and then obviously a longer term pullback as well. So if there's any higher time frame distributions in the altcoin market, then I wouldn't be opposed to shorting those. At the moment for virtual, I'm looking at this range. And we have mitigated whatever supply was in here. Perfect. And this has been mitigated. So yeah, I do expect a potential rejection here from virtual. There's also demand, so it's also another one of those instances where you're kind of like just bouncing between levels. So yeah, given the context, if we can distribute here nicely, then I will very much take that opportunity. So yeah, this is virtual for the time being. With ETH, we have obviously left behind quite a bit of demand. This has been mitigated. This not so much. There might even be some overlapping structure demand here. To an extent, but it has been wicked, as you can see. Yeah. Like if we look at this, you can technically use this as a overlapping move if you want. And there's our inefficiency. And then this is the potential ETH on range. Range on ETH. Potential ETH on range, guys. And write that shit down. This is the potential ETH on range. There we go. Okay. So that's ETH virtual. I really like how this virtual range is developing, but obviously still needs quite a bit more time. So nothing at the moment. Nothing that interests me. Maybe there's some supply in there, which probably has been mitigated. Oh, not yet. We'll see. Okay, there is supply. That's kind of it for for Sui. Not a whole lot that I'm willing to really draw on at the moment. There's just not much going on. Yeah, we'll leave that as is. That's kind of the main supply that I'm seeing. This has been mitigated. Sweet. WIF is in an area of supply essentially, so this move does interest me, to be honest. It is a little bit stretched out, but let's use our DL limit to double check. Yeah, it's borderline stretched out, but you can see that we've come back. As much as we have a close just outside, we have come back straight away. So, yeah, I'm willing to, given all conditions permit me, I am willing to short a move on this. Let's have a look. What else can I see? Yeah, so we have valid structure supply here. Liquidity is nice. I'm willing to try like a 0.5% risk on this. Otherwise, if we don't get the confirmation, then my idea would be that we push up higher, and then we make this a new range, and then this will be like our 3 tab model: tab 1, tab 2, tab 3. So that's sort of what I'm thinking with WIF, if we don't get this confirmation here. But I will keep a close eye out for this confirmation. Like, and we've already distributed here in the first place, so it's like this is a fairly pro context move here. Beautiful liquidity below. Yeah, I don't mind this. I honestly don't mind this WIF setup. So let's have a look and see what confirmations we can get. Perfect mitigation of supply. Now timing wise, yeah, I think even timing wise are pretty good. Tab 1 to 2, 20 hours, 40 minutes. Tab 2 to present, yeah, 14 hours. We have 5 more hours. 650, that's my limit. I have set my waypoint. All right, this is a interesting range to monitor on WIF, and we will monitor it. We'll put that top of our list. Virtual can stay there, so we can stay there. Link is not of interest to me. Give me a second. So yeah, Link isn't of any particular interest to me at the moment. We are sort of potentially forming some form of range, but we'll see. We do have some liquidity here. Boom. Yeah, we'll see if we can reject here from this supply from Link. This range does need a bit more time to develop. We've like sort of just confirmed it as a range. All right. Litecoin. Yeah, and then we have demand here. The only thing for Litecoin is this, but this is probably going to fail. So I'm just going to let price do its thing. And then you also have this range here, which is kind of like a tap 1 here, tap 2 here, tap 3, but then this swept this. So it's kind of like it's an invalid model 2. That's our rule. The second, if this was a valid model 2, like up until here, the second this tap 3 got deviated by this new high, then I'm only looking for a model 1, but I feel like model 1 is already off the cards because of distance. So tap 1 to 2, 60 now is 45. Tap 2 to now. Okay, no, this actually has time to become a model 1. So yeah, I've got an alert here if this does become a model 1. But I would also, yeah, just pay attention to this range currently. Boom. There you go. So yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. If we deviate here, then this could be a potentially interesting setup. That's all I have for Litecoin. Yeah, front ran this POI, but then we swept all these others extreme liquidity POIs on XMR, so that's fair enough. We did sweep this main one, which we identified. We even grabbed this, as a matter of fact. That was actually quite decent liquidity. So we could have probably traded off this if we paid closer attention. But the conditions just weren't it. Like, you had supply here. You created a little low time frame distribution here. Even now, like, you're leaving all this sell side liquidity. It's kind of an awkward sort of chart to trade. It's not the cleanest. It's not that, like, you had an explosive move down, but you didn't really have an explosive break of structure back up. And this wasn't really any sort of... Like, yeah, you had a break in here. Just, boom. Mitigated demand, yeah. Yeah, there was your little demand there, which got mitigated. I just don't like how price is leaving this sell side liquidity below, but anyway, that is XMR, so no action from me on XMR. Sol, we are well into supply. Now we're just going to start looking for distribution models to form where we might start rejecting. If, for whatever reason, we push through this whole supply, let's have a look, see what else stands in our way. I think we might have some refined. Well, that's been mitigated. Let's see what's in here. There probably is some refined supply in here, so we got that. That's obviously been mitigated. That's been mitigated. This is all just like mitigation after mitigation, really. And then we've got this mitigated, mitigated. There is your true inefficiency, ladies and gentlemen. That is why you have to really zoom in. So expect a rejection here. Pretty simple. We may have already gotten it. There you go. Boom. Yeah, otherwise anything here is not really that essential for me. So I will look on slightly higher time frames. What else do we have above us? Yeah, this is probably the next. It's overlapping as well. So this is the next supply POI I am keeping an eye out on. But yeah, how perfect is that reaction from the overlapping supply there? That's why it is important to zoom in, so you know where you are rejecting from. But yeah, that's solved for now. Not a whole lot. We're just moving up slowly. We'll see what happens. Maybe we do distribute here. I don't know. It's not really confirmed range. In fact, it's kind of far from a properly confirmed range. There is demand below. Well, another invalid range here. Palm through supply. Mitigated. Not really mitigated. Valid supply. Has this been mitigated already? Okay, interesting. This has been. There you go. Perfect mitigation there. There's just no real distribution. We kind of just, yeah, we've kind of just bounced from supply, really. Yeah, not a whole lot to look at from a trading perspective on Farcoin at the moment. Just be patient and see what happens here. BNB. Pretty similar. Nothing I'm too really... Maybe there's some supply in there. That's been mitigated. Yeah, nothing really with BNB that's of interest to me. Let's just stay patient and keep an eye out for a mitigation of this supply, which I believe is going to happen somewhat soonish, let's say. We've kind of grabbed everything there was to grab below, so yeah, let's see what happens. Aave. No real demand here. Not a whole lot that is of interest to me, really. We've mitigated the demand. There's no real supply. Just let this chart do its thing. Cake. I think we can all see the same distribution, the same potential distribution here on Cake. And in case you don't know what I am talking about, it is this one right here, which is a classic example of a distribution being created by a distribution. Boom. Really, really nice. So expect focus on this higher time frame range that we've just charted up. Nice. Not a whole lot more I'm interested in at the moment. Let's just be patient and let price do its thing. See how it develops. We can move that towards the top. Perfect. Pepe, we were at. Awesome. I'm happy with how this looks. Is there something more refined above? I feel like there is. Just. Let's validate this. Yeah. Clean supply. Hasn't been mitigated. So we can definitely expect some reactions from this. And we'll have a look at this as a potential range. That is Pepe. Doge. Doge has pushed up into supply, so I am expecting rejections here. So we will see if we can distribute. There might be some demand there. Yeah, valid. A valid demand here, and then there's also some valid demand below as well, I believe. What is the highest time frame this demand is valid on? Okay, 3 hours. Awesome. In fact, there's actually some overlapping demand, I believe. Yeah, right there. There you go. So you'll get a good reaction from this, that's for sure. If we can distribute into this demand, would be nice. But let's see what our price does. Okay, that's it for Doge. Not a whole lot more that I'm interested in. Hype. Well, we have this semi-high time frame distribution on Hype, potentially. Yeah, it's valid. It's honestly valid. We've just wicked our deviation limit. The only what do I not like about this is the return to zone. It's not the nicest. But the good thing is, I can't really see much demand, or like clear demand. Like everything here's been wicked. I feel like for me, the one thing I'll look at is a local range within a range, like a model within a model here. If we can get a confirmation here, this would actually be quite nice for a local model, and then we target the lows of this higher time frame model. So let's see what happens. Yeah, we can move this to the top, really. We've grabbed extreme liquidity. We've also mitigated the demand that was here, so let's yeah. Let's see. I am very intrigued from what's happening here at the moment, actually. So this is Hype. You know what? Let's move Hype to the top for now. Hype goes to the top. All right, XLM. Nothing. Not interested on XLM. All right. Yeah, that's it. Render. Was this valid? let's keep an eye out on this range for now, and let's just see what happens. That's all I've got for render at the moment. Maybe a little distribution into an accumulation. Maybe, we'll see. Bang, bang. Sweep this, bang, bang, bang. Like this as an expectational, this as a pre-planning would be insane. If we get this whole move correct, that'd be crazy, but let's see. Tau. Not really interested in Tau at the moment, to be honest. I guess we'll chart this up just in case. Pump has pumped through supply, if you will. It has also left demand below, so just be aware. I think it's left demand below, has it? Has it not? Okay, it hasn't. It hasn't actually. Well, we'll keep an eye out on this range. Well, there's the invalidation of this Litecoin model. Oh, technically not really invalidation. It can still become a Model 1. Quant. XRP. Bitcoin Cash. Not the cleanest model. Yeah, I'm not really liking this. I'm not really interested in Bitcoin Cash. Trump. Yeah, pay attention to the higher time frame range. Still at play. And then Asta. Asta's going to dump soon, I believe, just the way this is shaping up, but no range formation as of yet. So, yeah. That is it for crypto today, guys. Quite in depth, more in depth than I thought it was going to be, but there's a few pairs that I want to keep a close eye on. Hype being our main one here. Hype is looking really, really good. And then, yeah, just keep an eye out on all the others. With potentially Cake as well, potentially Virtual. But yeah, I'll say our biggest one to pay attention to at the moment is Hype. So we will see what happens there. And yeah, that's it for today. I will do a Forex vid later on tonight. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. And otherwise, yeah, thank you all for listening. I will see you all soon. Peace.